Math Genie.
In this video, I'll be explaining how to solve letter arrangement problems. Let's look at the question. How many different 7-letter words can be formed by rearranging the letters in the word algebra? I cannot emphasize enough that this is perhaps the most commonly asked questions in math counts or any other competitions. And I've seen this question appear so many times at competitions, not only with the word algebra, of course, but literally this is probably perhaps the most frequently asked questions in math competitions. And I really want to emphasize that you should probably know how to solve this whenever it appears. So please pay attention and be sure to write down, if you can, the steps that I'll be showing to you for this question. So you have the word algebra here, and it gives you that it's a 7-letter word, and you're trying to form different 7-letter words by using the word algebra. And whenever they're saying words, and you can probably obviously tell, but they're not really requiring you to actually find words that are in the dictionary. However, they're just asking for different permutations of letters, right? They're asking for different arrangements that you can make by using these 7 letters. So in my last video, if you watched, and I will link in the description box below, I talked about basic permutation problems, how to solve basic permutation problems. And in that video, I talked about the basic permutation formula that you should always know. I taught you that P, and of course this can be denoted in several different ways, but the permutation formula is n factorial all over n minus r factorial. And this is a formula that you really want to know, because this will be very useful in permutation problems like this. So you're going to be using the same type of formula, this formula, to solve this letter arrangement problems. And remember that all letter arrangement problems are always going to be permutation problems. This n here is going to be representing, in this case, how many total amount or how many total number of letters there are. And in this case, we know that n is going to be 7 because we're given with 7 numbers. And this r is representing how many numbers we're going to choose. So r in this case is also going to be 7 because we're going to be choosing 7 numbers out of 7 numbers, right? So we already have the basic information we need to set up our own formula for this question. So let's do that. So let's go ahead and start by writing this. How many? We have 7 numbers to choose from, and we're going to be choosing 7. So you set it up like this, equals, in this case it's going to be 7 factorial. What is this going to be? Remember that factorials are just basically multiplying all the integers that come before the number 1. And this is going to be equal to, with the help of your calculator, you will get 5,040. Common mistake here. A lot of students stop at this step and they're like, hey, I just got the answer. I used permutation formula, then this should be the answer. No, this is not going to be the answer. Especially, you have to be very paying attention and attentive to these type of details. You see that in the word algebra, the letter A repeats twice. So for example, if I give you like a word, let's say that the first A is A sub 1, and let's say the second A is A sub 2. This word, algebra, is the same thing as A sub 2, L-G-E-B-R, A sub 1, right? These two are same words. However, when you're using the permutation formula, this is going to be counted twice. Why? Because in permutation formulas, they think this A and this A sub 2 are different. However, we know that A's are all going to be A's, right? So you always have to divide, in this case, by factorial 2 factorial. Why? Because A sub 1, A sub 2 are technically same. However, the formula is counting it twice. So you always have to divide it by 2 factorials. In this case, is going to be 5,040 over 2, which is going to be equal to 2,520. And that is going to be the final answer to the question, not 5,040. Remember that you're always careful, because this is a common mistake that students make all the times. And I can't stress that enough, because as a person who always attends math competitions, I have made these mistakes too in the past. Always remember to see if any letters are repeating, like algebra over here. There are, if I want to give you some other examples might include the word icicle. This is the word that I really want to give an example of, because this is a little bit different. Remember that in the word algebra, you only have the letter A repeating twice, right? But in this word, you have the letter I is repeating twice. We know that the letter C is repeating twice. So in this case, not only do you have to do, since there are 6 letters here, not only do you have to divide it by 2 factorial one time, but you have to multiply it 2 times. Why? Because 2 letters are being repeated. And this will give you 720 over 4, which is 180. There can be more complicated words like the word cookbook. In this case, you have O repeating 4 times. And you have the word letter K repeating twice. In this case, you have to do 8 factorial divided by 4 factorial and 2 factorial. So always remember that whenever you see these repeating letters, always divide by that number factorial. Because math competitions are not going to give you words that don't usually are too simple. So for example, they're not going to give you very simple words like water. And if you see like the word water has no repeating letters, right? So that's going to be very simple. You just got to do 5 factorial for this and you'll get the answer right away. However, math competition, the test makers are not going to give you these type of simple permutation problems. They're going to give you more difficult ones like the word icicle or cookbook or anything like that, like bookkeeper. Those words that have letters repeating in them. So always make sure and always be on the lookout for these type of words. Thank you for staying until the end of this video.
Math Genie.